Alcohol. Alcohol is a brilliant coping mechanism. It's very easy to get. It's socially tolerated, amongst other things. It's paradoxically is one of the most unhealthiest substance-related coping mechanisms that you can have, actually. It's much more dangerous and more toxic than most of the illegal drugs, but I think that's a very known fact. But it would be the society if it wouldn't thrive on our illness and bodily and mental dysfunction, which is what they want to essentially do. Destabilize, so they can have something to fix, so they can take cash for it. So yeah, but I mean, I've considered it was not all wrong all my life. I mean, with alcohol, because what it does to me sometimes is this, it has this option to really reset, you know, that the next morning, I don't know how many people can say this, but I love hangovers. I love them. It's because I am very, very real the next day, and I know the truth. Like, I have no illusions. Nothing is clouding my mind. It's just like clear sky, you know. It just clears out the clouds. And the contrary of having a little bit of bodily tiredness, but sometimes that's worth it. Of course, it cannot be used like as a coping mechanism for everything that ails us or ails us. So it doesn't need to be too often. I mean, in my past it was very often. It was not for the purpose of healing, it was of the purpose of escaping, which is very different. And yeah, and that can actually, that will catch up on you later or sooner. Because when you do something to escape a certain truth or reality, it will always catch up on you, and usually with much more bigger pain. So it's basically just loss of time. Escaping, you know, because you would need to deal with it sooner or later, or live the rest of your life with big pain that will always grow the more you ignore stuff, and then you will die. So yeah, I mean, it was not much, 4 beers or something, maybe 5 in one sambuca. I actually didn't know that sambuca was from nice. And it was nice. It was very sugary. I don't like sweet things, but it does milk the same way as absinthe and ouzo, so that was brilliant, very licoricey. And yeah, I mean, I have always been fascinated with alcohol, and I have it in my genes from both sides of my family. Actually, one of my happiest memories was with alcohol. But I started abusing it a lot, like a lot. And it was a form of escape, 100% it was a form of escape, because it was the only thing that could set my mind free, but then imprison it again. There is this, when you drink, there is this fine border between what is setting you free and what is taking you back, you know? It's just this, it's like phases, you know. I wrote a poem about it in Czech language, actually. And it's about alcohol, and there is one verse that says, first it loves you and then opens the wounds. And I think that's really true for mind reacting to alcohol in big amounts, because inherently it will make you, firstly it will make you calm, but then it will take you back to the unhealed and unresolved wounds, and emotions and traumas on a much more intensive level, because it strips you out of the wall of protection, basically. And because inherently what we want to be vulnerable. We want to be vulnerable in our own world, and as we are. And when we are constantly worried in our minds and such, then we cannot let ourselves, or that's what we say to us, but it feels like we cannot let ourselves just be, as we are, and accept the truth as it is. And we can use, or sometimes even abuse, substances. Yeah, I believe substances are in this world more abused than used. And but let's fight for a conscious using of substances. That's what I did yesterday. I consciously got drunk. Didn't get drunk, pretty much. It was like 5 beers, but like I consciously did go outside to have a little bit of a relax. But it makes us vulnerable, but then when you become vulnerable, then the real emotions that are hidden inside, they can come out finally, after the ages of being looked down. So that's what alcohol does to you. Makes you feel relaxed enough, if you tip over, it makes you feel that relaxed, that those emotions that are inside of you, really deeply hidden, they can come out finally. Just very useless if you don't remember it the next day. I guess it's not useless because you will heal some part of it, but still, Oh, but yeah. I find every drug and every substance, if you consume it consciously, with intention, it's not gonna hurt you. Inherently is what relationship you create with that substance, and that very moment, like if you decide to go to drink, and you basically create the relationship that you do it out of healthy, you do it out of intention. Taking drugs and substances consciously, it can be a very big tool. I mean, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, for sure. I know many people who are not very liking of substances or something like that, but it can be helpful. Just wanted to say alcohol is not inherently bad. Nothing is inherently bad. It's just what you make out of it. Please don't shame yourself, by the way, for like drinking or something. Just change your relationship if you think is wrong. And if you change your relationship and you wouldn't feel the pressure, then you can even stop if that's right for you, So, but that will crystallize during the time. Once you start practicing mindful using, let's say. It's just funny, that like alcohol is one of the most damaging drug in there, and is legal, and the other ones are not. Well, I'm inherently an alcohol lover. I just am. Oh my god, I love the shit out of the thing. With moderation. I don't need nowadays. I don't need to drink for like month or so at all, and then have 5 beers or something, but depends. It varies from day to day, from situation to situation. I'm not dependent on it anymore. Was never dependent on it, but I thought I was. But I like the feeling. And maybe, in near or further future, I will change. I would change, and I would not want it anymore. But as for now, I appreciate the presence, the option of having presence with alcohol in my life. I understand people who don't drink whole life because it's inherently it is taking you on a lower level of your own consciousness, and which it really can if you allow it, but the chemical properties of it are so that it does that. So I do understand people who don't drink, for example, from their childhood or like at their whole lives, I mean, and or just, you know, sometimes when there is like a celebration, they just ting with the other people, you know, have like a little sip or something. But they don't drink. I understand them because they're right. But me and alcohol had a very close relationship over the many years, actually. So if I'm gonna come to that conclusion, it will be later. Sooner or later, but it's not now. It can be tomorrow. Well, I'm inherently grateful for the spirit of alcohol. I mean, alcohol is a spirit, but because it, when you ask it for help, it can show you wonders, you know. And I think it's the same with herbs, and it's the same with herbs, and for sure alcohol infused herbs, you know, alcohol infused by herbs. So like that's also kind of a thing, but that's for another topic. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. I don't think substances are inherently bad. They're part of this world, you know. They're part of the world that we live in. As pain and suffering, but love and compassion too. Just don't shame yourself for stuff, but try to cope. Do not escape. That's my advice. It's not an order, but it's an advice. If you want to use any kind of substance, be it alcohol or anything else, to escape, even when you know it will hit you 100 times harder the next time or the next day, what about you try to use intentionally substance to help you out with the problem, to help you have a fresh perspective, something intentional. What about that? Could be helpful. Well, that's it from me today. It was amazing seeing you again. And I love being honest like this. It's been nice seeing you again. And until the next time. I think it will be very soon.